friends, this is Jazz bringing you sort of a different video. You won't see this video completely out until after Christmas, in a way, but this is kind of like a video I'm going to put together, like a mini advent for me. It's not really an advent calendar either, but I decided to use these for this purpose, and this is going to be the first clip of that. Now, in this clip, you'll see 8 things, because this is the 8th of December when I start to record it, because they didn't come in until about this time. So what am I talking about, guys? Fidget toys. Yes, I got myself a box of fidget toys, which amazingly had 24 things. Now, keep in mind, guys, some of these things are the same, right, in a way, so I'm going to show it at that. So, first thing I am going to show you is my first sensory fidget ring. Now, you're probably thinking, this more looks like that doesn't look comfortable, for one. And, for starters, is that something you put in your hair? Like, I know, it looks as simple as that, and it isn't comfortable the most, I don't know how to explain it. There's a guy on YouTube I watched that did explain it better, but it's called a sensory ring because you're supposed to notice this feeling that it gives you. Like if you're having anxiety or a meltdown or whatever it is, you just putting this on and feeling the feeling you're feeling in a way helps relieve the stress and helps relieve your anxiety. And yes, at first it's not the most comfortable thing, but after a while, you don't even notice it unless you actively try, push on it in a way. I mean, it's something I wouldn't wear every second of every day. I would not sleep in this thing. I would just have to find a special spot to put it, because another downside is they are so small and easier to lose. But you could play with this many ways. You can roll it like this if you have it up there. You can stretch it a little bit. It can still break. You can just rub it like that, too. So just feeling it. It works in many ways, guys. And at first, I wasn't 100% sure because it said that does look uncomfortable. But you know what? I guess it's meant to be a little, it's meant for you to notice it in a way. If you understand what I mean. The next thing here I'm showing you is the little poppies. See? Ta-da! And he has different eyes, too. Like, you can see it both ways. Like, I have it on my Pokemon Violet Violet Scar, but you see the little guy? Oop. See, this is so satisfying, actually. Like, if you need a distraction for a little bit, you can just see the little... Now, does it really help? For me, a little bit. I think so far this sort of helps a teeny bit more, because if I need to distract myself from anxiety, just feeling it and focusing on that helps. But this is a cute little distraction, if you need to take a break, a sensory break, it is adorable. So, while I'm at it, the other thing I have on there is, yes, I know, another pop fidget, but in the set it came with that, and plus you can attach it and it's small, and it actually pops really well. So, I think it's still a better hit than those others. As much as I love the controller ones, the look of them, this works a lot better for what I need it to do. In a way, it doesn't always pop, out. It's confusing to explain it, but this is almost the perfect pop it in a sizable, that I can handle and I can take. So, I find that really cool, in a way. Now, the next thing I am showing you are kind of 2 things together. They're, what's the best way to call it? I have it here. It is the, where can I, okay, this is the wacky tracks. So, you can connect these together, so it's kind of like a thing you take apart, right, in a way. Like, I counted this as 2 because they came separate. See, you can take them apart, you can put them together, so it's kind of a distraction, because when you're putting it together, you've got to really, really focus on it in a way, so I think they're pretty neat. It's something that I can maybe not sneak in my bag, but you know, if I want to do something a little bit more hands-on and focused a little more, I can do these here at work. So that is pretty cool. The next thing I am going to show you, I think you may have seen before, but it's a grip fidget. So it's supposed to make noise, and it does. You just got to do it a certain way, right? But it also helps because you're pushing it, you know, there. I don't know if you can hear it, but now it's making noise, but that kind of gets you to focus a little bit too, because you're focusing on getting it like in the center. And these do help, right? Maybe not the same for everyone, but these are one of the more helpful things, because especially if you have stress or anxiety, this will kind of help with both, because you are focusing on trying to get both of those little things here in the center to make that satisfying noise. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. The next thing I am showing you here, the rings. You know, yeah, you can focus on, you know, putting the rings through, and it's a really fun way to I mean, it takes a while to get used to it. This is one of the things that I'm still getting used to doing, because it's not as simple as, oh no, I guess it can be as simple as that, but but that's another thing that you probably are focusing on a little bit. But the big downside with this, though, is that there's only one of these, and this is really small, so you might want to attach it to something like a lanyard if you're not using it, because it's just the right size too, and you won't lose it as much. Now, guys, I believe the final thing that I have for today's section, which is December 8th, you'll get a new section for the next 16 days? Okay, I suck at this, guys. I'm sorry, I suck at math. The next 16 days. Great. Is here, this magic ball, and I messed it all up, I know. But the point of this whole thing is to get them into the right, you know, color, right? Like, the pink has to go in there. And at first, I had a hard time figuring this toy out. Yeah, because I suck with my colors. No, that is not why. Because I thought I had to push it in, right? But that was not the case at all. What I actually had to do was push it through here to get to there. And after a while, it gets a little bit, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just so satisfying, though, when you know how to do it. You distract yourself by sort of pushing all the colors in and try to get them in the right spot, and then you mess it up just so you can do it again. Will I say, and I know people are going to shoot me for saying this, because that is probably not even true, but just my impression is this is a far easier Rubik's Cube. But not. It's not a Rubik's Cube at all, guys. That's why I said people are probably going to shoot me for saying this, because this is nowhere near it. But it has a similar idea of moving the things around to get the colors in the right spot. So, if you see what I mean. And when I say a lot easier, because this is a lot easier. Once you figure out how to push, to push and slide, that was my only issue. Like, I knew the colors, right? And if I focus for a while, I can get them easily figure out, okay, where does this go? Because you do have to use your brain. Okay, you have to move this one over here just to move this there and then move that back there. This is something I'm definitely going to bring to work with me. Because if I need a break, but it looks like I'm doing something, I will do this. Now, again, I have to be very careful with this because there's only one of these in here. So, but this is obviously so far my favorite thing that I've been using to keep me busy out of this whole thing. So, guys, I will see you in the next section. Hey, guys. Welcome to December's 9, portion of the kind of Advent fidgets. Now, during these segments, like, I know I should have brought this up sooner, but during these segments I might also talk a bit about my day, just, you know, to add on to it after talking about the fidget I chose. Now, today I chose one of my mesh and marble fidgets. At first I didn't even realize what it was, but what you do is you can do different things with it. Like, bring them down to here. You could kind of move it like this. I mean, I know it doesn't see it, and like that. I know it, like, this is usually more aimed for younger people, but you could also use it, like, to distract you, getting the ball down there, so it's kind of another activity that you can do. I mean, I've watched some reviews on it too, a review on it too. They say that this can sometimes detach, or this also doesn't have something to attach it to. So, but it's something you have to be careful using. But it's a little bit fun, especially when you can make that noise. And that's also relatively quiet. So it's something you can kind of also stim like this. I mean, it won't move the marble any, but if you want to have something in your hand and do that, but it's also something you can keep your mind busy by watching the ball in the center and then moving it down. I mean, at first, you're going to laugh. At first, I wasn't paying attention and I thought it was just this thing right here and why they'd have that there, but you know what, it makes a whole lot of sense now, having this in the middle and watching this, which makes me more excited about using this, because so far, my other fidgets that I've been using, like showed you the other day, have been working really well for me. Particularly the rainbow magic, ball and the ring. Now, as I said, I know the ring looked uncomfortable, but really, as long as you tread lightly with it, and before you even get uncomfortable, you remove it when you don't need it. At that point, it works really well. But I was looking through my stuff, deciding which fidget to use today, and I said one of these. I have, I think, 3 of these in the different colors, but I'm glad they have a blue one, because, my gosh, so far I'm loving this thing, like, just trying it out. Now, let me say, my day was alright. I went to work using these fidgets, again, by the way, which helped me a lot. I'm not feeling the best with my allergies. I have, like, on top of IBS, I have when I say severe, I don't mean, like, life-threatening. But, especially this time of year, my allergies seem to act up more frequent. And when they act up, they're pretty bad. So I would say maybe moderate in how it makes me feel, but severe in how often it happens, right? It isn't something that just, I feel bad maybe every second day. Well, that's similar. Almost every second day or every day I'm feeling something. So, but besides that, I did alright. I actually rewatched the Santa Claus 2, which after, I've also watched the Santa Claus in the last few days as well. As an adult, it's so much different, right? It was almost, over 10 years, anyway. It was about 20 years, at least, since I've watched that trilogy, that series, and I'm hoping to watch the 3rd one, because the Santa Clauses are on Disney Plus, and I'd like to watch that. I actually think I found a Christmas movie I actually really liked. Now, I've never been the biggest fan of Christmas movies in my later years. Like, I'm not saying that they weren't any good. I'm not saying that they're all bad, humbug. I'm not a humbug. I just never really watched many movies to begin with, so Christmas movies weren't on my agenda. But at work, they usually put on a movie on Friday, and they were doing Christmas movies, and the Santa Claus series was one of them. So I thought, what a better time to do it as any. And I found I really liked it. So, I actually found a Christmas movie that I might be willing to watch again, in the coming years. But anyway, guys, yes, the marble and mesh You could do many things with, well, many and limited things with it. It's something that if you just want to have something to stare at and watch, while, shaking the marble or put it in different directions, it'll use your brain for like a few seconds. Again, not like the ball, the magic color ball, but it still works as an activity. Hey guys, it is December 10th section of the Fidget Advent. As I said, this isn't an actual Advent calendar. It's just I've been choosing one from them each day and then showing them off, right? So I did a new one each day. That's kind of how I'm doing it today. This is the string, the durable string. I can't really remember what it is, but it's supposed to be like a string you could fidget, and it's in a better, it's not just a string, it has, durable texture, so you could flip it, stretch it, and to a degree even tie it. It doesn't completely stay in a knot, but it's something that if you're the type of person that likes to tie things when they fidget in a way, like I'm not very good at that, but you can kind of see, you could put a knot in it, and I believe you can undo it too. Guys, it took a while, but I did manage to get it out. It's something I guess you should never tie too tight, or it'll be a while to get it out, unless that's your idea of, fun. I mean, if you tie it, you should just kind of not try to get the knot in it, like that deep in a way. You just tie it enough to kind of, like that, and then you can undo it easily. So I've seen people do actual knots in this thing, right? So, but how I got it out was I just slowly just stretched it up to there, and then it went somehow miraculously back in. So and it's something that I would not want to do too often, but it's good as a stim toy in a way. If you bought something like in your hand, you just kind of move your hand like that. So, how was my day? It was more meh. I just felt a little, not down necessarily, but sometimes, when you don't have any energy, that is sort of how I felt. Although, if it was discovered, and I was watching it, the name of the boy in the box, which is, what was his name? Joseph Augustus Sorelli. But this was over 65 years, pretty much, to discover. He was one of the longest cases of someone who was not identified until this point. They don't know who killed him. Well, they have a suspicion, but they're not really allowed to say, really. And they're not allowed to talk about his parents, because some of the boy's siblings are still alive, and for the respect of them, they aren't. But whoever could hurt a 4-year-old, yes, guys, it was pretty much confirmed when he put the date on there, the date until the day he died. He was just shy of just 4 years old. They suspected that he was between 4 and 6 anyway, but the fact he was at the younger end of that estimate was even more heartbreaking. I mean, it's terrible when anyone harms any type of child, but the fact that he never even got to go to school, for starters. All the things that 4-year-olds could experience, he never got to experience. I don't know how to explain, my mindset on that. Is that, there's a lot of milestones he never got to see. And even if it was 6 years old, there was still a lot of milestones he never got to experience. But the fact is, he would just be, I don't know how it was back in the 50s, but if he saw anything, he barely saw preschool. Unless his parents never sent him to preschool. I mean, it was obvious he was right, so I don't know if he even saw that, but to me, it's just sickening. who could do that to a child? I mean, and as I said, it has not been confirmed it was the parents. It hasn't confirmed it was anyone at this point, but it sounds a lot like it could be someone in the family. Just from the fact that no one claimed him, no one reported him missing. So it has to be some type of family affair, even if it isn't either of the parents. But that's even sadder. What type of family member could do that to their own family member? Well, okay, I guess a lot of people could. Okay, let me rephrase that. What type of family could do that to such a young child? Is what I mean. Like, family could be, sometimes, some families could be pieces of you know what. But you would have to be very cold to do that to a child. Especially as young as he was. Like, it's just, sorry. That just really bothers me, in a way. Like, especially the young age. But anyway, guys, I will see you in my next session. Hey, guys, this is December 11th clip. Today I chose, it was like the stretchy, straws. I got about maybe one other. What it's supposed to do is you pull it out, and it makes noise as you stretch it. And plus you can just move it around, and it makes, noise as you kind of move it. I mean, it's not as noisy, it is noisy when you push it out like this. So this is something I wouldn't say would be office or work, or school friendly. Because unless you wanted to get sent out of the room, or fired if you were at work. But this is good for when you're home, maybe doing something, random. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But I decided to choose this one today because, well, it's different in a way. And it's blue, which is always good. Not going to torture you with pulling it out anymore at this point, but there's another one I think in there. You can attach them. Okay, I'll pull it out one more time because I'm curious about something. Wait. Oh, well, it kind of goes in. It sort of goes together in a way, but not really. I think it's better off putting in other noodles in a way. I said, I'm sorry for how noisy it is, but that's the point of this fidget, is if people like a lot of noise, then they use this in a way, which I could see be useful for some people. Now about my day. Yeah, I know you may not like me complaining, it's like a Christmas type video, but pretty miserable today. I'm actually lucky I'm getting this section done. We'll just put it this way. I think I have a cold. I'm pretty sure I do anyway. I don't know how bad the cold is because I never went to a doctor, but it certainly was not my allergies. I felt so bad that I almost passed out. I mean, I may not have, but I felt like I wanted to, but I didn't. So I just recently took some NyQuil, so, I mean, I was so bad that we got, like, tenders and taters, which I love. I couldn't even enjoy them. I took 2 tenders and some taters. I usually put the tenders on buns. I decided to forgo that because I didn't think I'd be able to eat them that way. So I thought I was good with what I got, but I couldn't even finish. I finished 1 tender, and I didn't even finish all the taters, which I didn't put that many on there. I had to stop. So, and usually I could easily eat fat. I usually eat them on buns, so I usually eat more. So, and for me, that's a big thing when I cannot eat something that I love to eat, right? I'm barely enjoying my ice cap that I have right here, right? It's one of those days where they say that you wake up feeling miserable and you're like, well, that sucks. I have problems with my, with my throat, right? But I said sometimes I do anyway, not all the time, but then I start coughing a lot more, which again, it still isn't as bad as it was. There was one time that when you cough so hard, you feel like you coughed out a lung, which I didn't. Again, that's a little, I don't know if it's impossible, but very unlikely for mild amount of coughing. But I still coughed pretty bad, so my throat hasn't gotten to that point yet. But I would still be coughing, and then I would have a headache, and then I would have cheek pains, like I would feel flushed. Like, I know a little TMI, but again, sometimes I need to get it out, right? felt so miserable. I mean, I still managed to go grocery shopping with my aunt, which again was sort of a win for me, but by the time I got back, I'm like, I was done. You know, I usually, when we went to Tim Hortons, I even ordered an ice water, because I needed water, right? My mouth was dry, too. I needed water, and you wouldn't believe how fast I was drinking that. Over the ice cap. As I said, it's just one of those days. I just hope I feel better, because with the things at work, like everything, like I don't know how to explain it. Where I work, which that is a day program in a way, and we're still being heavily restricted because of you know what. It's still a thing where we have to wear masks, and they're trying to keep out those who have pretty bad coughs or flus, because there's still sickness going around, and I've been doing so well at work. As I said, I've been talking with a lot of people about it, including the Unman 64, which him and I are pretty close as friends. And, I mean, I even won a client, you know, participant of the year this year, which I never said much else, but I did so well. And have a throwback like this, feeling this bad, is kind of, what is it, harder on me than it normally would be, right? I mean, as I said, I'm at a point now where I feel comfortable at work, right? Like, there was a time where anytime I would get the slightest problem, I wouldn't want to go in. Like, I felt more comfortable at home, right? But I'm at a point now where I know, like, with my IBS, that I can go in there, and they usually can take care of it. I'm allowed up to 3 of my IBS pills in there, you know, per day. And that is usually enough. I don't even usually have to take any, but knowing they're there helps. So they've been handling that very well. So I know when it comes to my stomach, I can almost go any day without a problem, which has always been my biggest problem. But not knowing exactly, like, I think I have a cold. And even my aunt, like, when I talk to her and ask her what does that describe to her, what does she think, you know, she said it sounds like a cold, right? Without even really giving her any ideas, right, of what it could be. And I don't know, like, it's something that I also go on a bus for those with special needs in a way, and you usually got to cancel the day before. So I have to be sure if I'm going or not by at least 4 tomorrow, because I can't, like, if I don't cancel it, the bus is there to get me. So it's kind of hard, right? As I said, like, I'm starting to love work in a way, right? And it's something that I've been feeling so prideful and doing so well in that I don't want to let anyone down, including myself and my aunt, who is so pleased with me for getting that award and going as frequently as I have. And in a way, like, I don't know how to explain it. I actually, at this point, start looking forward to the days I go to work now. Not just, oh, I can do it, right? I really am starting to like doing it at this point, because it gives me a little structure, right? During those days, I know what I'm doing for the most part. I have limited choices in a way, so I'm not going to be sitting there watching YouTube all that time. I might read, or I might journal, or there might be lessons that I might be interested in when they do it. So I have a bit of structure there, where at home, as much as I love the video games and all that, I can never seem to structure myself all right to prioritize things. Like, I want to try and make habits, but it's harder for me to do because there is an abundance of choices, and a lot of these choices I would prefer doing more than others. Like, let's say I want to do more exercise, like do an exercise thing at work. Like, there's a video on YouTube and everything. I try to get myself to do that video a little more on my own at home, as much as I love doing it at work. But I tend to go back towards playing video games or watching YouTube than doing something that I know I can do. I've done every day so far for the last month and a half or more at work. It's easy enough for me to do. I don't even have to, well, there's one section that I can get up, right? And I'm capable of doing those exercises too. They don't allow it at work because there's a lot of clients that can't do those stand-up ones. So they make sure everyone is in the same boat there. But I can do them at home easily. I've done them, right? But it's just my willpower isn't so into it when I'm there at home as I am at work. So I'm trying to get myself into a healthier mindset, where, of course, I still want to be able to have time for the games and the YouTube, right? Because that is mental health care for me, because it usually makes me feel good doing those things. And, of course, you should set aside a time for those hobbies that make you feel good. But I want to learn to balance that with things like reading or doing those exercises or even working on YouTube videos. Something that, like, the videos usually make me feel good, and I'm great with recording it, like I am now, but when it comes to editing, I get so stressed with it sometimes, especially if it was like a countdown video or a review video, especially on like TV shows or movies, because I do not know exactly what I understand like what copyright is to a basic term, but I don't really understand like what would classify as absolutely safe to put on my videos, because I usually work and for me it's harder because I usually work so hard on these videos that if I can't upload a video because 1 or 2 sections, it would all have to be done again, and how would I do it better for I wouldn't have that problem? Like, it's usually that throws me off of doing those videos, because like, you feel so bad, you work so hard just to say nope, it can't be viewed. Right, and it's funny because I don't really care about getting a lot of views. Not like I'm not in that type of person, but I want it to at least be seen, right? Even if it's like 1 to 2 people, right? I want it, besides me, I want it to be seen. Because my hard work would be for absolute naught if it wasn't, right? So, I mean, I said I don't care about the high view count. I just care that it's seen. The hard work is seen. In a way. I know I went on quite a bit of a tangent there, but this is one of the sections I wanted to kind of get all out, because I was feeling miserable and I wanted to bring up about my work, and I've been doing well at work rather than how I'm feeling right now, so we'll just have to see how that goes. Maybe you'll hear in the next few sections how everything went there. And I want to talk about more my stance with YouTube, how I've been doing and not doing about that, and maybe I'll try to do another video on that specifically, in a way. So guys, I will see you in the next section. Hey guys, it is December 12th's clip on what fidget I got for, my Christmas fidgets countdown. And today I got this. It's a squeeze-in football. Like it's kind of like a stress relief ball in a way. And actually, it's pretty good quality. You can squeeze it, it's a decent pressure. So if you really want to squeeze, you can. Like, it isn't just simply, in and out, it has a little bit of, strength to it, a little bit of I don't know how to explain it. It's durability to it. Like, it isn't just a simple squeeze. It sinks in. You have to sometimes add a little bit of pressure, which sometimes is good when you you want to relieve your own pressure, so you put all that pressure into that. As I said, this is kind of nice. As I said, not my favorite thing, obviously, because I have a lot of stress balls, but this is something a little bit unique. It has a little bit more, as I said, a little more layer to it, a little more, you need to apply a little more pressure to a lot of the other balls that I have. So this might be a good choice if I really want to give all I have into like the squeeze in a way, because it seems pretty durable in that way. I think that's the best way to explain it. It's durable in a way. So would it be something I'd bring out with me all the time? I'm not sure. Like, I might bring it out sometimes, but it's something that I don't think I would use all the time as of now, but I don't know, because I don't know. I'm learning what works for me and what doesn't, in a way. So anyway, about my day. Am I getting any better from how I'm feeling? A little, in a way, but I still had decided to not go into work tomorrow, just for the fact that I'm pretty sure I do have a cold, and especially around this time of year, I don't want to cause any problems with anyone at my workplace. Because, as I said in a video at some point, I'm sure that a lot of them might have more sensitivities that way, are more susceptible to getting sick. And I'm trying my best to go Friday, though, because I've at least had a few days to take the stuff I needed to take to calm it enough that I feel safe that I wouldn't make people catch it. In a way, I wouldn't be as, contagious is the right word. Right at this point, I think I'm at a point where I still might be a bit contagious, because even now, I'm just recovering still from it. Like, I definitely wasn't what I was yesterday. That is for certain, which thank the heavens about. But it's still earlier in the night, so I don't know how I'm going to be tonight. I will confess that. Usually at night it gets worse in some ways. And my throat, I still have problems with my throat more so than I did before. So the worst parts of how I was feeling are gone. Or are not gone, but are better. But my throat is the thing suffering now, in a way. So I don't know what is causing it. Like, I don't know, like, if I was coughing too much, because I coughed quite a bit throughout the night, last night, and even today. But I honestly don't know. I also wasn't feeling very well for my, other IBS, well, they say it, for those who didn't see it. So I did some reading. I borrowed a book from my workplace, and it is the Goosebumps Horrorland Revenge of the Living Dummy. I'm on chapter 6 so far. I'm enjoying it, surprisingly. It's a different little story away from the others, and, at least I enjoyed this. So far, I'm enjoying this one, so I don't know if I would continue with the Horrorland series all in all, because they continue continuity afterwards, so I'll just have to check it out later. Maybe. Like I don't know, but I said I've enjoyed it so far. I'm liking the characters. Right now it seems like it's a standalone story, but after a while those ones go into more continuity than the others. So, since this is number 1, I don't have as much of an issue, in a way, with reading that one. But as a standalone story, I really like that idea. I like all the characters so far, even the one that is meant to be hated. In a way, I don't know, the character is just, what is the saying? You hate to love, but love death. It's just, hate to love, that's what it is. Like, it's just, he's both, Ethan, we'll say his name is, he's both evil, it's like bratty and charming, all at the same time. But I'm only on chapter 6, so I don't know how worse he's going to get. Right. So anyway, guys, I will see you in the next clip. Hey, guys, this is the sections for December 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21. Yeah, guys, 9 days. I have a lot to explain. I was sick with the cold. As you've seen in number 12, I was sort of sick then too. And it sort of went downhill in those days, but then went back up. So I was waiting for the right day, to do them all. Like, I could have waited till tomorrow and just did 10, but I decided, nope. That way I have these 9 things. I was holding off till I did the section of them before I used them. Now, I'll give you an update on how my day was, but I'm also going to be telling you the first thing I'm going to show you is sort of broken in a way. Yeah, I know, well, worth my money, but right now I don't know how to fix it, and I was trying to hold it off as long as I could to show it, but this last there's only 3 days left after this, so it was supposed to be the infinity cube, and this part came off, So right now, I'm going to put this aside and wait till it's fixed, because it can still sort of be used. The point of this cube is just to kind of, you know, mess around with them, which, again, the fact that one piece came off is very frightening if this wasn't an adult playing with these. I mean, this is supposed to be stable in a way. Like, if a kid were to play with this and it came off, well, no, I suppose a kid who would be allowed to play with this would know better not to put it, like, in their mouth, right? But still, it's something I wouldn't give to small kids or individuals with special needs that put things in their mouth, because this would easily be something they could. I looked everywhere for, like, the way to put it back on, like, when I was testing it, but there was really, right now, I couldn't figure a way. It should be simple, because see where they're attached there? It should be simple, you know, to put, you know, it back on, but it isn't. So for now, I'm going to just play it as it is. You know, you're supposed to move it around in your hands and flip it like this, so it's not completely useless. It's just not completely right either. You could never fully complete it because of the missing piece, which doesn't make it as satisfying when you have it together. But oh well, the Infinity Cube, or this, I think this could be a knockoff version, because I don't think the actual Infinity Cube would break that easily. You know what I mean? Now guys, the other things you've seen here before in this video, one way or another, you just get multiple and different types of it. So I'm going to show you 3 things here first, because they're the most the same of them, and that is, I got more of those rings, you know, those fidget rings. But I actually got a couple gold color ones too. So these are really useful when you have a lot of stress in ya. Like, you just put it on there, and sometimes just the feeling of it will distract you enough to kind of relieve the worst of your anxiety. Plus, you can move it around. So, and from what I heard, these can break, so it's good that I have a few others here, just in case the other one doesn't work. Or it's good to have another one somewhere where I could put somewhere else. So I could have one, like, near the bathroom, because I don't feel good quite often. So having one near there, and then have one near my bed side table, and maybe having one in my fanny pack is something to have around, so I know that I have one. Anyway, the next thing I'm showing you, again, I'll show you some of them together, but I have the green marble mesh, which I actually am enjoying using these, because you could use them in so many ways. I have the yellow marble mesh. That's why I showed them together. Like, it's nice having different colors. Like, if you're in a different mood, you know, like you wanna, I feel like a green mood today, or oh, I feel like a yellow mood, or blue. Again, it's also good to have multiple of these for different areas. So you're like, okay, I'll have this one in this area, so wherever I go, I have the option to have one, which again is pretty cool to have, especially if you need something to distract you. Now, the next things I'm showing you together, they're the strings, you know, the stretchy strings. Now, I'm not making the same mistake I did with the blue one. I'm not tying it right into a knot. I know that is a bad idea now. But you still can, like, play with them that way. You just shouldn't, you know, completely pull it together. You just go as little as that. Like, you don't go until it's completely in a knot, because then it is hard to get undone. But you still can mess with it and tie it if you just want to use your hands, or you can use it as just a stem. Like if you're sitting somewhere and like watching or editing or reading, maybe not so much when you're reading because you might need both hands, but the point being is that if you just need something to move your hands with me, you could just move your hands, I suppose. That's the easiest and most beneficial thing to do, right? Because then you could still use your hand for holding the book, but sometimes you just need to see something as well. Like when you're stimming, nice to have something in front of you. And yes, I got a purple. I think it is a purple one. A purple or pink one. Yeah, I'm not often a big fan of those colors, but you know what? Heck, anything I could skim with, I'll be happy to use. To be frank, like, as I said, I find that the most I fidget or stim is with my hands itself. Like, I'm not a big full-on body stimmer. Like, I don't really tend to rock so much, and I don't, like, spin or anything like that. And when I say spin, I mean full body spin. I mean, I will occasionally, like rock if I'm in my room, maybe watching YouTube, but I'm never a out and about full body stimmer. Usually my stims, you wouldn't even completely call stims. They'd be more fidget than anything, like with what I do with my hand. So a lot of people may not even notice, right, that I actually do those type of things, unless they directly, like how do I put it? I have to be extremely comfortable to somewhat stim more naturally, more fluidly. Like, if I've been somewhere, like if I was at a doctor's appointment or I was out and about, I would be very unlikely to go full body stim. And even then, if I were to stim at all, it might be like, wouldn't even be full on flicking like this. Like, I would need something like The Ring, for example, because this is such a subtle way to relieve your anxiety that someone could look at you and not even fully notice that. Like, you don't even have to have your hand right out and do it. You could kind of have it, like, underneath your coat and do it like that. So, how do I put it? I'm a pretty good master when it comes to those things when I'm out and about. Like, if I'm comfortable somewhere like I am at my workplace at this point, I will stim a little bit, right? Like, it's not unnoticeable. But if I was just out, somewhere, even at a family's house that I haven't been to very often, even then, I'm less subtle about it. Like, I think I'm the least subtle when I'm in my room by myself. Like, that is when you would notice the symptoms in a way. But my point being is having these type of things, just to fidget around with, really do help with my anxiety a lot. And I didn't even realize this until within this year, that I do need these type of things. Like, even my aunt for a while was like, well, they're toys, like, what would you need them for? How would they help you? And there was a time I was like, yeah, well, they're cool, but how do they actually help me? And it wasn't until within last year and this year that I realized they do help me. I just never gave them the proper chance or used them correctly or understood how to use them correctly to help you. But these are really good. Now, the last thing that I am showing you is surprise! Yes, I know. I know how you guys love this. Yes, and I know how you guys are probably going to turn off this video right now. This, I will say, out of everything here, minus right now the infinity cube, which again is sort of broken in a way, this is probably the least helpful to me. For one, I would never be able to bring this out and subtly play with this, because people would be, not like with this, but they would be what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, they would notice. They would notice. Now, and even at my workplace, which again is meant for those with special needs, a day program, there's so much they'll tolerate. Like, this is way too noisy to do, like, in my workplace. Like, now, if it was at lunch hour, maybe, it would be a fun little distraction that they would tolerate for maybe 10 minutes. But even in that context, they would probably only tolerate this, like, 10 minutes, and then they'd be like, okay, Jazz, or, you know, my real name, hand it over. Now, I don't know. Like, I have never actually tried that. But I am pretty certain, because there are a lot of individuals there that have, severe sensory needs or intolerances. A lot of that is noise. So, for the sanity of those other individuals, they probably wouldn't allow me to use this long before someone else would melt down. So, and I respect that. This is a at-home thing for me. Right, nothing out and about unless I was just in the car with my aunt. And even then, she would say, okay, put it away. You know, like, this is supposed to be a more private thing. It's not a work or school safe thing. Unless it's something that is brought specifically for an activity, you know, say, okay, we're going to be playing with noisy things today, you know. Then that, okay, but this is not an everyday work safe, school safe activity to stim with. Unless you just plan to do this with it. Which, really, this is not what it's meant to do. This is what this is meant for. Or tying, but still, this is more appropriate for that activity than... It almost looks like you're going to hit someone with this. Which, you never know. Some people might. But, as I said, this is probably the least useful for me, these things here, because really, I can't use them when I really actually need them, which would be in the out setting. But it would be a good little distraction once in a while, you know, if I was extremely bored and not around a bunch of people. Which, again, fair enough, I am quite a bit. So, yeah, this is... Again, I forget what they called it, but you'll probably hear it in the other section of it, but yeah, sorry for well, then again, you guys wouldn't notice it, because it would just be the next clip, but I just did not have the energy those last 9 days to do anything, let alone these sections, so... Thought adding them together would be fair enough. So these were for the last 9 days, the 13th to 21st. It is almost Christmas, guys. It's hard to believe. There's another 3 days till Christmas Eve and 4 till actual Christmas. Now, guys, I realize that this is going to end on the 24th day, because I think I only have enough till Christmas Eve. But you know what? Maybe I'll have an extra day to end the video or something. I suppose this has one way of stimming with it. Just playing, you know, like when you're moving your hand. You know, I didn't realize you could do that too. So, hey, found out something new. So this would be a way you can make it work safe. But you could not play with it the way it's intended to in a work school setting without disrupting a lot of people. This would be one thing I would understand the schools banning. Because, like, the fidget spinners, I never understood it. But, because they could be so subtle. But then again, I suppose individuals that do not have special needs and are just playing with it and not paying attention, yes, it can be distracting. But sometimes they can be helpful, too. You might actually be able to, you know, to play with those things subtly and then still pay attention. Like, sometimes schools do have to think, like, if they were a little more lenient on these things. Like, of course, not letting people have, like, video games or something out. But something that would be subtle, you know, that you could just play with your hands but still watch the lessons. Like, that could make things so much easier for students. As, trust me, teenagers and kids' attention spans are not meant to be 8 hours, you know, just sitting there, paying attention. It's not easy. And that's from me, but from someone with a disability. So, you know what, I'm probably one to talk, but I could imagine for any student that it would be difficult unless you were a real academic student who already had that IQ and that attention span, you know, to do that type of stuff. But most students, I believe, wouldn't. Especially not early on. But anyway, guys, I will see you guys in the next clip. Hey, guys, I'm bringing you sections 22, 23, and 24, and this will be the ending segment of this video. Also, heads up, my throat is not good at all. So I'm trying my best to get this out for you. Now, you've seen these three things again before. They're just another versions of it. I have the pink. It looks orange here, but I have the pink, you know, stretchy string. I got another silver sensory ring, which again, it's good to have these things. I've been really liking them. And I have the pink marble mesh. Now, I've been using these three things quite a bit, so I'm glad to have as many as I can for different situations. Like, I can have some near the bathroom, some in a travel bag, and some near my bed table. So the three important places I would go, like situations I would be in. So, yeah, I'm still recovering from a cold. Right, and actually, I'm doing this on the 25th, so, surprise. I'm just barely well enough to do it, so, you'll be seeing this video, I don't really know when, but within after Christmas at some point. So, anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this whole video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, like what you see, please subscribe, and help this channel a lot. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so you know when new videos are coming out. And I'll see you guys in my next video.